Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be focusing on a tease from Biostar on an upcoming X570 motherboard likely to be announced, if not launched, at Computex. We're seeing a public service announcement about the PS5's upcoming, that is the PlayStation 5's upcoming CPU integration. In fact, there was a rumor that it's going to be a 3600G. And finally, Nvidia has certified some new monitors to be compatible with G-Sync, even though they just feature FreeSync. That's part of that whole compatibility program Nvidia started recently, where some monitors just make it to the criteria and Nvidia certifies them as being good to go with G-Sync and giving a buttery smooth experience. Let's go. Before we get started here, all links to the articles will be in the description down below, but let's kick it off with Biostar's tease here, where a new motherboard on the X570 chipset, which will likely be announced if not launched at Computex, is shown. And it's actually a pretty good picture of it. We get a lot of an idea of what Biostar is going to be featuring here, and we see that it has 3 PCIe by 16 slots, 3 PCIe by 1 slots, and active chipset cooling with an actual fan going, which we haven't really seen in a while on a mainstream AMD platform. So that's at least a little bit interesting, but beyond that, we don't really know much else about this motherboard. It looks like fairly standard fare. There is an ITX motherboard sitting there. We don't really know much about it just based on the looks of it, but I have owned a Biostar ITX board before, and I can tell you the BIOS on my X370 board is complete garbage, and I would not buy another one. With all that said, Computex is going to be a hot place for AMD this year because we're likely to see the launch of the 3200G, the 3400G, which I'll be talking about those in just a second. We're likely to get the 3000 series of Ryzen mainstream processors announced, and we're going to see a lot of these X570 boards. So just because this one is the first one to be teased does not mean it's the one that you should buy. Also worth noting is ASRock teased their own board, and it just looks like some RGB bling. There's not really any good pictures of the board, which is why I'm not showing it here, but check out the link in the description and you can check out that sort of very miniature tease video as well. Next up is this article from Extreme Tech, which gives us a public service announcement about the upcoming PlayStation 5, in which the 3600G, which is a fictitious processor to my knowledge from AMD that they did in fact not announce at CES 2019, will not be featured on the PlayStation 5. I couldn't even follow my own sentence there, but here's the gist of what happened. Wired UK ran a piece where it claimed the 3600G, which it also claimed was announced at CES 2019, would be featured on the PlayStation 5 with a 7nm process, and there's a lot wrong with that, most notably that we don't really know anything about a 3600G, at least to my knowledge. I've only heard of the 3200G, the 3400G, and I will link you to the video where I talked a little bit more about those processors, but the biggest sort of red flag here is that if this is a G monikered CPU, that means it's an APU. And the 3200G and the 3400G are not 7nm processors. They are on the older Zen Plus architecture. So if this was really a 7nm processor being put in the PlayStation 5, we would expect it to be labeled as just a 3000 series processor, no G attached at the end, or if there was a G attached at the end, we would likely see it next year around this time with a 4000 numbering, not a 3000 numbering. So this seems to just be a little bit of poor research maybe on Wired's part, or maybe just somebody that didn't quite know what they were talking about. Regardless, the 3600G is almost certainly not coming to a PlayStation 5 near you. And lastly, Nvidia is bringing us 7 more monitors being certified for their G-Sync program, in which they take FreeSync monitors, test them out with G-Sync, and if they do well enough, they will give them a G-Sync certification, which effectively means for the end user that G-Sync is enabled out of the box, provided that you're using DisplayPort. Now, you can always go back and enable G-Sync even in non-certified monitors, but your results may vary. What this does give a consumer is a good idea of is what monitors they can actually just go out and purchase and expect a great G-Sync experience, even though it's a FreeSync monitor. So I will leave the image here on screen for just a minute so you can mark down what monitor you want to go ahead and pick up. But again, links to this article and the other articles will be in the description down below. And of course, before I get out of here, I do want to hear from you guys. What do you think about the upcoming X570 boards? Which brand, for example, are you most excited about? For me, it's Asus. I'm an Asus loyalist, mostly because I've had several of their boards. I've never had a bad experience yet, but maybe you have your own brand loyalty. Let me know what that is down below. And of course, if you like this video, hey, give it a like, share, subscribe, comment. All those things help out the channel a lot. I will leave a couple videos from YouTube around me for you to watch, and you can follow my social media down here as well. Regardless, I'm Shane with Hoosier Hardware, and I'll see you guys in the next video.